Yo, what is up, chat? How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful Wednesday. The NVDA report day, the FOMC minutes day, whatever day you want to call it, hump day. There's so many ways you can spin the name today, but the middle of the week over here, I guess not, because Monday was day off, right? Maybe not middle of the week, second day of the week for traders, but good opportunities nevertheless. Lots of opportunities to trade the market. Market went down, and we kind of called that move a little bit, didn't we? That move came in pretty hard to the downside. We took out yesterday's low, if I remember, but a nice pop at the end of the day over there. Nasty pop on the markets into the end of the day. Beautiful rally. Trying to remember what else happened, what else was important. I mean, obviously the NVIDIA report card came in. Report card, what are we in grade school? NVIDIA earnings card came out, earnings report came out, and they had a little bit of a wiggle in the after hour first, but then eventually once the report got disseminated, whoa, why did that light just go really bright over there? Oh, Corey coming in with the dollar super chat. What's up, Corey? Thank you, sir. Bears Daddy says, also coming in. What's up, fam? How's everyone doing? Ani is here. Where's the new haircut? Yeah, I mean, you know, I only had that. It was a wig. I had it for the picture, for the thumbnail, but then I took it off for the stream. Obviously, they don't want to have it on. It was just for the thumbnail. I just had to take a photo shoot for the thumbnail. Also got a random chip too for the thumbnail, you see. But yeah, thank you. Lots of hair comments over there. How's everyone doing? Welcome. I'm gonna continue what I was talking about the market real quick, because yeah, pretty crazy move at the end of the day, and NVIDIA rallied all the way back into the all-time high, pretty much ticked 746 perfectly and got rejected off of that. So now we're wondering, you know, does NVIDIA push into 750 tomorrow? So lots of conversations about NVIDIA. Obviously, we'll take a look at how that stock is moving around. Bunch of other stocks on the watch list based on earnings, like Rivian, Lucid, some of that EV sector coming back into play. We also got Etsy, if I remember correctly, some stocks that report tomorrow, pre-market, Moderna. So we'll go through the earnings board, we'll go through some of the movers from today, we'll back test some of the stocks from my scanners that we were recently building and talking about, and then at the end we'll kind of see where the overall market could possibly head towards. We'll also kind of disseminate the FOMC minutes to the best of my ability. We'll kind of look at the FOMC minutes over there, see what the Papa Powell and friends are talking about in terms of interest rates and so on, and then see if we can find some trades tomorrow. Talking about tomorrow, it's a very interesting day for me, especially because I will be back to trading tomorrow. So very excited, especially on a day where NVIDIA's earnings reports are going to be day one type of move. So since I'm done with my vacation over here, my little forced vacation that I got put onto, but now that I'm done with it, tomorrow being back into the market, hopefully I don't FOMO and I don't start trading emotionally because of the lack of not being able to trade for so long. So let's prepare for all the opportunities. Let's look for the right trade setups, and then let's be patient enough for those trades when they do show up tomorrow. Let's get the party started. Real quick, I'm gonna see the chat over here. Chat's going strong to the green side, says Blind. Let's do a poll. Can you do a poll, Blind? I don't know if you can or not, but I'm sure I can do a poll over here. Let me just set up a poll. What do we think Thursday has in store? I can't spell store. Awesome. Big time squeeze. Drop it like it's, you know it. Drop it like it's what? Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Okay, start the poll. And then you guys obviously let me know what you guys think over there. A lot of people rolling up. If it's your first time, hit that like and hit that subscribe. We are obviously talking a lot about mostly equities. We don't really trade futures. I know a lot of you guys over here come from the Think with Bookmap family, the futures traders mostly. But if you're interested in equities, hang around. We talk a lot about equities. And we're going to start off with the earnings board from tonight. So today we talked about the stocks that came out with earnings: NVIDIA, Rivian, Etsy, Lucid, Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros, maybe we'll take a look at it, but not that interesting. Marathon Oil. So some of the stocks that we're going to take a look at that report earnings today after hours. We have all of those reports already snagged from Benzinga. So shout out to Benzinga for supporting us with an affiliate sponsorship. If you want to go check out Benzinga, the link is down below in the description. We already the time that I had for the stream over here took all the reports from Benzinga and already put it into ChatGPT for us to kind of save time. So we'll run through these reports right now, starting with NVIDIA. So let's see how NVIDIA reported. NVIDIA reported earnings per share of $5.16, surpassing consensus estimate of $4.64. Monster beat over there, almost a 50 cent, slightly more than 50 cent maybe beat overall. Q4 revenue reached $22 billion compared to $20.5 billion expectation, with the 22% increase. I'm just rounding up numbers here and there, okay? I'm not trying to give you exact numbers. I'm trying to skim the information too. With the 265% increase year over year also. So monster beat on the revenue side. Sector-wise revenue breakdown in Q4. Data center up 409%. Gaming up 56%. That's my sector, baby, gaming. Professional visualization. What the hell does that even mean? Is that like AR, VR stuff? Up 105%, whatever. Professional visualization. Oh, maybe it's like a web visualization and professional visualization in that terms, maybe. I don't really know. I'm just guessing over here, but up 105%. Automotive down 4%. That's a little sad. You know, automotive, you want to see it increasing, especially with cars going more EV, but maybe it's just a growing sector for them. CEO Jensen highlighted that the surge in demand for accelerated computing and generative AI globally, especially in data processing, training, and interference from large cloud service providers. NVIDIA provided strong Q1 guidance over here, looking like they were 20.24 billion. Okay, they're gonna beat Q1 already based on the estimates. They were 22. They're coming out with 24. Gross margins anticipated to 77%. NVIDIA stock went up 6%. This is a lot more later on when the report came out around 4:30 or so. It only went up 6%. Like I said, it wiggled around a little bit. It was a little weird wiggle. I was watching it, but a monster move nevertheless on NVIDIA at the end of the day, going all the way to that, right back into that all-time high marker. So let's take a look at the stock on the 5-minute chart. Here's your after hour move. You guys know how I like to put in the anchored VWAP. So let's go into the 1 minute. Here's that negative move I was talking about. Weird little down move on NVIDIA. Earnings, February. We're still in February, right? ER, February 24. And we're going to mark that as earnings anchored VWAP. Nice little blue anchored VWAP coming in for us. Let's go see if we're above the anchored VWAP. Why am I lagging? Hello? Well, let's save this and refresh this. My stream lagging, chat? Hope not, but I'm lagging big time over here. Whoa, we got a $20 super chat from Lily's grandma. What's up, Lily's grandma? Welcome. Thank you for the $20 super chat. I haven't seen you in a long time. Long time. But why are my charts lagging? I don't really like that. Something's taking up a lot of my internet space over here. Oh, you know what? It might be the Think with Bookmap streams that I have open in the background. So let me just turn those off and see if that... Oh, look at that. Much better. Already much better. Sorry, Think with Bookmap, I have to turn your streams off because I can't stream, have your streams open, and have charting at the same time, apparently. It's just taking up a lot of my internet speed. But over here, okay, let's talk about NVIDIA. You guys see how on the daily chart, I have this long-term chart on NVIDIA, that long-term trend line, sorry, on the daily chart. We broke just under that not too long ago, and we held at the February 6th low. We held pretty cleanly today, the February 6th low, and after the earnings report, pushing right back into the all-time high of 746, and a bullish move too, the way we hold it overall. We actually got back above the trend line, and now we're looking to take out the all-time high. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 750 or higher than 750 coming into play. At the same time, you want to see maybe 700 holding, or even 710. These little bottoms, these are in 5-minute chart. Yeah, this is a 5-minute chart. I'm gonna take off that long-term trend line just for now. Actually, no, I'm gonna put it back, and then I'm gonna mark that area right there. So if the stock does pull back to the downside, the earnings anchored VWAP right now on the 5-minute chart is exactly where that trend line is almost at, but I'm not using that trend line to trade off of. The earnings anchored VWAP right near 717.42. Most likely, if the stock gets more traction in pre-market, it drags itself higher to 720 or higher than 720. So I'm expecting the momentum to continue going to the north side, and we might have to make a decision around 750, or wait for the opening 5-minute range to set up. After the opening 5-minute range sets up, you could possibly take the bull flag breakout of some sort on NVDA and kind of start your trade with the ORB breakout over there. Some ideas already brewing in my head, but overall, you do not want to see the stock under 710 or 700, right? We already kind of saw what would happen to NVIDIA if we do get under 700. Right now, you could see that the selling that was already there going into the stock before earnings showed up as selling one more time, or at least profit taking one more time on the earnings itself. But we want that level to get taken out. If this level keeps on being an issue, I would even drag this level all the way up to 750. 750 is more that psychological number in my head for me that matters. If we're already above 750 in pre-market, then we might have to make completely new decisions on the stock going into how we trade off the open and so on. So those are all different new scenarios that we have to come up with if the stock is already above our expected areas. But what I would love to see is maybe, you know, some range over here between 746 and between 710, 720 for us to trade with, and then we get to take that breakout of 746 or that breakout of 750 for us to play with. So let's wait and see what pre-markets hold in store for us. If you subscribe to my watch list, you know that you will get on my notes, the pre-market updated for that area ASAP as soon as I get that going. Let me hide this so I can see the chat. There we go. Chat coming in with the $20 super chat, man. I'm pretty shaken up from that one. Monster super chat. Thank you, Lily's grandma. I appreciate it. Here representing East Coast says swimmer. I like it. Do you swim? Because I swim. I used to be a pretty damn good swimmer. And I say used to because I went pretty bad. I'm pretty, I stopped swimming for a long time. I don't know if I can swim as good as I used to anymore. Fabian's dark room glass. My fault. For what, Fabian? Prad with the pie charm. Oh, you see my pie charm? You see my pie charm at the bottom over there? That's hilarious. Yeah, that's for any of those programs that I want to code, like scraping data. Like over here, look at this. I just recently made this one, which is I basically plug in all the tickers from my watch list, and it scrapes the ATR. I don't want to say what website it scrapes the ATR from because I don't want to get in trouble, but it scrapes the ATR for me. That way I can put them directly into my watch list and not have to worry about, which is currently closed. The watch list is also having an issue. I don't really have my watch list open. That sucks. You know what? I might have to open it over here in that case because that application is misbehaving. So let me just open up my watch list on the desktop, web app instead. God damn it, my throat. Here we go. Let me show you guys what today's watch list looks like. Bring it onto this screen over here. We'll hit F11 on that bad boy and bring in the watch list. So as you guys can see, NVIDIA, Rivian, Etsy, Lucid, Bros, mRNA, MRO, Nikola, Fiverr. I mean, a couple of the stocks that don't really have too much volume, but we'll take a look at it. Some of the stocks that already reported for us, and last but not least, the large cap, which we always like to take a look at. So NVIDIA over here, first stock. Next stock, Rivian. Let's see how that one's earnings report came out. Rivian Q4 earnings report. Reported Q4 revenue 1.32, surpassing the estimates of 1.26. Okay, I see you, Rivian. Rivian recorded a loss of 1.36, missing the estimates of 1.32, barely missing over there in my opinion. Rivian produced way more deliveries. Okay, that's good. Delivered 17,000 vehicles delivered, and then 14,000 vehicles in the fourth quarter. Is that like the overall year? Okay, but most of them were in the fourth quarter. That's pretty good for the fiscal 2023. Okay, mate, I'm so confused with how they put these numbers. Okay, look at it. Vehicles produced and delivered 17,541, but then it also says 13,000 cars in the fourth quarter alone. So what is this for? So confused with the way they word it sometimes. Expressed optimism about the progress made in 2023 despite economic challenges, and emphasizes belief in the full electronification of the automotive industry. The company ended Q4 with 9.37 billion in cash and cash equivalents, included revolving credit facility of 10.47 billion. Rivian plans to focus on cost efficiency in the fiscal 2024, aims to continue the progress made in 2023. The company anticipates producing 57,000 cars in 2024. The EBITDA the improved cost revenue reduce over 10% by cutting workforce. Rivian will reduce its salaried workforce by around 10%. So they're talking about more cost, labor cutting, I guess. The unveiling of the Rivian R2 scheduled to be on March 7th, something to maybe keep an eye out for the Rivian stock around that time period. The company experienced a 17% decline after the report, sadly. Ooh, look, I mean, the report looked mostly good to me, but however, there is a downside move. Oh man, stop drawing random spots on the chart, Prad. So let's go to the 1 minute chart just to put in my anchored VWAP. There, right there on that spot. And then we're going to mark it ER Feb 24. Pull back to the 1 year chart. Kind of see, maybe not even the one. I mean, that bottom is already pretty evident. That's probably the 52-week low. And we're probably at the 52-week low. That's the all-time low. Aye. Oh, we're not. Okay, that's good. That's kind of good that we're not at the all-time low. I mean, the market's pretty much near the all-time highs, right? So you don't want to see stocks going into the all-time low. This report, in my opinion, was not as bearish. They barely missed on EPS. They did beat on revenue. Well, quite decently beating on revenue. Overall, I mean, they're talking about cutting workforce, so another 10% of workforce probably being cut. That's a sad thing for workers overall, but a good thing for the company because they're going to save some money in the long run. I think this report probably turns around tomorrow. In that case, you're watching for the stock to most likely get back into today's low and then reject around today's low. So I'm not really expecting the stock to get more higher than $15. 15 area is probably a solid resistance. This is not going higher than 15.20 in my opinion. So it gives you a good opportunity to get long. Let's see what happens in pre-market. You're probably looking at something like this in pre-market. We're probably inching closer and closer. A breakout at $13.50 for a move into $14.50 probably looks the best trade for me. At which point, you know, this anchor VWAP gets drawn out over here. This anchor VWAP also gets drawn down over here, and this one gets drawn out over here to the upside, and the stock kind of ranges over here in that $1 ATR, which is pretty much what the ATR is for the stock, $1.92. I could see this bottom coming in. I'm not really expecting the stock to go test the all-time low, but let's say it does. Let's say we go back to the all-time low tomorrow and we see a clear bottom coming in, or it kind of creates a new low, shakes out the people, the stops get burnt out, and then we start popping back up to the north side, giving you an awesome V-shaped recovery, V-shaped, what's that Lance calls it? A V-shaped, yeah, it's a V-shaped recovery, right? A beautiful V-shaped recovery if that all-time low does come into play, but I don't really expect that to come in. I think we see somewhere 13 area just holding, especially because how the market's holding off. But let's see if the market's down harder tomorrow. Maybe we see a bigger fall. How much of a sell-off did the stock actually even have in the after hours today? Let's go calculate that. We closed around 15.39, right around here. That's about How about a 15% drop? Okay, so we did sell more than 10%. That means it will be on SSR. Maybe a good SSR bounce right back into 15.18, and then it sells off at 15.18, and then it comes right back into $14 tomorrow or something like that. If it does reclaim 15 tomorrow, that'll be very surprising to me. So that's gonna be my first area of resistance, that 15 to 15.20, which is right around today's low. The next area of resistance for me, if it does reclaim above today's low, will be today's high, which is at $16 to 16.10. So 16 to 16.10 will something I'll be watching. All I'm gonna say is, dude, we're going to 800 plus tomorrow. No, not financial advice, nothing matters, but NVIDIA tomorrow says Wayner. I mean, 750 breaks, who knows? There is an opportunity towards 800. That report was banger. That report was banger. But we knew that they were going to come out with a banger report already, and they've been kind of making this run up for the recent time anyways. We already saw a little bit of a shakeout. We already saw a little bit of a shakeout over here in the pre-market or in the after hours. But I guess that was before the report. Look, I'm not trying to negate your statement. I am very bullish myself. I am looking for that. Stop drawing circles on your charts. I am looking for that, you know, parabolic move past 750 into 800. NVIDIA's ATR is $24.29. That being said, I think we're seeing $50 of a move tomorrow without a doubt. I'm seeing $50 a move tomorrow. SMCI has been kind of, you know, breaking out every single day and creating monster ATRs himself. At last time I checked, SMCI was $30 ATR. Now it's a $72 ATR. So just take a look at that, right? Sadly, SMCI did beat NVIDIA towards in the race of $1,000, but I don't think the stock is that far out towards 1,000 at the moment. The road back to 1K, is NVIDIA back on it? That's the main question. So we'll see what happens over here on NVIDIA tomorrow. But right now, looking at Rivian, possible supports for Rivian. We do have the after hour low right around $20.71, somewhere around $13 too. So $12.70 to 13 is my first area of support, and then under that, I'm not gonna do anything until all the way back at the all-time low of what, 1150 was it? 1168 to 1150 area. So 1160 to 1150 is the next area of support for me. If we do get under the after-hour low that we made over here in the after the earnings report for Rivian. So pretty clean levels to watch out for. Rivian, I'm actually going to mark it as a pretty high importance for me tomorrow. NVIDIA obviously gets marked as a pretty high importance without a doubt, but I need to wait for the pre-market areas before I can put in some areas of support and resistance for that stock, because I think that stock is going to make another crazy move in pre-market itself. So we're going to watch out for that one in pre. Now, let's talk about a stock that reported in the afters, because this show is after the after hours with your boy TraderPrad. So let's talk about Etsy, who also reported after hours today. How did they do? Missed an analyst consensus by 20% on EPS. Ooh, already looking like a negative report. Beat analyst consensus by 1.7%. Not much. You missed pretty hard over there, though. Represents a 4.3% increase over the same period last year. Okay. Consolidated gross merchant exceed 13 billion, highest ever annual reported. Okay. CEO expressed a commitment to growth initiatives, making Etsy an essential partner for gifting. Gift mode TM. What the hell is that? Interactive gifting hub utilizing AI. Come on, dude. And human curation. Plans for ambitious investments in 2024 to drive buyer consideration and frequency. Q1 outlook anticipates low-digit single declines year over year. Attributes the decline to a slow start in the quarter. Expresses optimism for improved GMS later in the quarter. What is GMS? Gross merchandise sales. I'm guessing that's what that means. Warns a potential mid-single digit decline if trends do not improve. Okay, not good signs at all. Expects Q1 2024 to be low point in year-over-year growth, GMS again, and anticipates benefits from Etsy marketplace products. Overall, what I'm reading just does not look good. Yeah, so the market reaction, the stock did sadly push to the downside over here, 5.8% to the downside. So let's go take a look at how the stock traded in the after hours real quick before we start charting it up on the daily chart or on the hourly chart for us. So a little bit of a drop, first a pop and then a drop. Let's go to the 1 minute chart and then put in the anchored VWAP real quick. Feb 24. As you guys can see, the previous anchored VWAP from November 2023 is right around here. We've actually found some support off of that area on the after hour move. Actually, we're under that area now. That was a 1 minute chart. I like to look at it on the 5 minute chart. On the 5 minute chart, we kind of found rejection before. We find support for a little bit, but now we're clearly under it in the after hours. This stock looks like we're in a box on the daily. I mean, not sure if this is really as important of a trade tomorrow, but if it can bring in some volume. What's your average volume actually, Etsy? Your average 30-day volume is 4 million, so not really the greatest for a stock whose stock price is $60-$70. The average price is not the greatest. Your ATR is not bad. Your ATR is $3.23, so maybe you can bring in 1.5 ATR off a move or 2 ATR off a move for us to trade off of. But if you really want 1.5, 2 ATR moves, then you're probably just, you know, gambling with NVIDIA tomorrow. So that's an idea over there most likely. But here's some levels on Etsy to keep an eye out for. Let's go take a look real quick on the 5 minute chart. Looks like none of those levels actually came into play. We do have 65 to the downside that possibly finds support. 65 is right here at this double bottom area. It's actually 66, Prad. So let's put in that number for ourselves, 65.88 to 66 as a support area, and the resistance is basically around today's low, which I don't think we get to. I don't think we have any chance to go back to today's low. That report was pretty damn bearish. If we do have any opportunities to short at today's low, that might be a good opportunity to look out for. That's around $74. So resistance 74 is something to keep an eye out for. 74 also an inflection point for me, because if the stock is above 74 tomorrow, then what the hell, like maybe there is a trade. I'll put Etsy, however, on a lower priority for me compared to Rivian and NVIDIA. Not as high as a priority for me for tomorrow. I think Lucid is in the same basket as Etsy, not really as high of a priority. It's another EV stock that's near all-time lows. It's kind of like that Rivian trade at the moment, right? So we do have Lucid over here, kind of trying to recover after making a new all-time low, trying to get back to the previous all-time low, but the earnings report came in and just smacked it down to the downside. Do we even need to take a look at the report for this? Looks like the report is absolutely atrocious just right off the bat over here. Loses 29 cents compared to the estimates of 32 cents, so that's actually a beat overall. Produced 2,300 cars compared to, and in Q4 delivered, produced to deliver. Okay, got you. Company ended the quarter with approximately 4.78 billion in total liquidity. Lucid issued full year production guidance to be 9,000. Yeah, calm down, buddy. Calm down, buddy. Where are my emotes at? Calm down, buddy. 9,000 cars? Who are you kidding over here? 9,000 cars by Lucid? You guys are not making that. Let's get some real numbers to the boards over here. Production of the Gravity SUV, Gravity, okay, is on track for the late 2024, and high volume, medium size platform production is scheduled for 2026. Lucid shares, however, down 2.7%. Yeah, not really interested in trading Lucid tomorrow. If I want to trade an EV stock tomorrow, it's most likely Rivian. I think Rivian is your better stock to trade. More volume most likely in Rivian tomorrow than Lucid, and a better ATR, because Lucid is not like a $3 stock. So better ATR on Lucid, in my opinion, to keep an eye out for. So let's go to a recent IPO. Not as recent as IPO for maybe most of you guys. You guys might be used to, what's that recent IPO that came out? AS something sports. They own Wilson or whatever. But this is an IPO I actually remember trading. It's gonna be Bros, Dutch Bros. When did it IPO? October 2021. So maybe not that long of an IPO, but one of the more recent IPOs for me, coming out pretty long since I've taken a look at these guys. I guess pretty long being the last earnings report, because I already have that ER mapped out. So let's take a look at how they did on the report here for today. 119% beat on EPS, okay, and about a 0.5% beat on revenue. Not a monster beat at all on revenue, but a pretty big beat on EPS on Dutch Bros, and Dutch Bros now looking to kind of start moving back to the north side. Very light volume in the after hours, not really looking to, maybe I will just put it in. I will just drop it in right where that volume spike was. Let's put it in right there. Feb 24. And kind of go back to that 5-minute chart. You can see how it's right back in, trying to go back into that $30 area. Let's see if $30 is some sort of a important price. I mean, the stock has traded in this area for so long. Do we even want to look for a trade here? Looks like if it does get through 30, it might just go struggle into 31 or $32, at which point we could possibly look for some shorts to get into, honestly. So not too exciting over here on the stock. The after hour move was to the upside. I think if the stock does break past the after hour high, which is around $30, I'm going to put 30 as my first resistance. We have a move up to what, $32 or so to the north side. That'll be my second area of resistance over here on Dutch Bros. And for supports, you could look out for right around today's high, which is right around a little bit of a bottom where today's high is too. You can see a triple bottom over here in January. No, not January, sorry. June of 2023 or so. You got a nice little triple bottom into that $27 or so. Right around $27.50 is today's high. So I'm just gonna put in supports to be expected coming in around $27.50. So keep an eye out for that. Dutch Bros priority also very, very low, lower than a Lucid, honestly, if you, in my opinion. Let's go to MRO, another stock with a low priority, unless they do something fun in after hours for us. Nothing. They did nothing. They didn't even take out the today's high in the after hours with the earnings report. So pretty much a nothing burger of a move over here. Not too exciting. Maybe we get some fun out of Moderna. Moderna is the one who's going to report tomorrow pre-market, along with Nikola Motors, another EV stock, but this one's under $1, even more or less of an importance for us than Lucid. But Moderna, we'll actually care about Moderna a little bit. I like to trade Moderna around earnings. It does give you multiple ATR moves. It does give you a pretty decent volume spike too. So we'll take a look at how Moderna comes out with a report. Recently, a lot of people on Twitter Spaces have been calling the decline of Moderna once again. You know, a lot of people are not really taking Oh, Britta coming in with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Britta. Let's go. Britta with the GG sticker. Yahoo, baby. I like it. GG. Moderna, you know, a lot of people talking about how people are not actually taking COVID vaccinations anymore. I mean, I haven't taken a COVID vaccination in how long now? I think I'm only taking like the 2, and I'm never taking any more. And pretty much my parents and a lot of people outside there too. Like a lot of people just have stopped taking the COVID vaccinations at this point, and they just deal with the COVID, right? And thankfully, a lot of people, I guess, because of the vaccination, are able to deal with COVID a lot better than they could have. I'm not trying to join, you know, vaccination or anti-vaccination or anything. I'm just talking about the numbers, the statistics, to how many people are actually taking the drug to compare to how many people who used to take the drug, or how many people took the drug. Based on that, I think Moderna could have more downside potential over here, especially on this earnings report. You saw how the previous earnings report put in a nice little bottom on the 52-week low, right around $62.55. Let's see if that number comes back into play on the report. Let's actually go check what Options AI has in store for Moderna. What do they think the earnings expected move is? So they're expecting about a 9% move on earnings for Moderna. What the hell? How did my watch list fix itself? Oh, that's right. I fixed it myself. Moderna. So they're expecting about a 9% move on Moderna overall on the report. The report is in pre-market, and they're... Where is it? Bang. Their conference call is at 8 a.m., which is actually a good thing. You don't want the stocks to have conference calls during right there at 10:30 for stocks such as Nikola. We already don't care about Nikola. Let me actually do myself a favor here and watch this. Bang. Delete Nikola from the watch list for tomorrow. We don't need it. And they have an earnings call, however, at 10:30. So keep an eye out for that one if you are interested in Nikola. But for Moderna, the options expected move is about 9%, and they're thinking $95.50 cents to the upside or $79.68 to the downside in the pre-market. That's a little bit higher than where my marker is. So we'll see what happens. If the report is bearish enough, maybe we do see the previous 52-week low coming into play. If the report is bullish enough, maybe we see that $90 and $100 coming into play that options AI is expecting. Holy shit, I'm choking on my own saliva over here. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, so waiting for the stock to report in pre-market, along with a couple other stocks that are going to report. Fiverr, a little bit of a lower volume stock, but I have seen it have above 1 million, 2 million shares in not in pre-market, sorry, but throughout the day when earnings comes out and does give you some clean trade opportunities. So we'll see if Fiverr can bring up some moves. They have a conference call at 8:30 tomorrow. And last but not least, one of my most favorite stocks to trade out there for earnings reports, it's Wayfair. Not anymore, I guess. You know, Wayfair has given up a lot of its ghost, or is it GOAT? I don't know what the saying is. I think it's the ghost, giving up the ghost. So Wayfair has given up a lot of its moves, sadly, and kind of now started raging out in the sideways over here. But off the earnings report tomorrow, maybe we do get some fun and some opportunities to trade this stock. So let's see how Wayfair moves out. And their conference call is at 8 a.m. So keep on track for that one. I want to take the second over here and pop out. Can I pop out the chat? I can pop out the chat. Yes, sir. And can I bring it in over here? Let's see. Big time squeeze. 72% of the people are talking. We got 25 votes. That's awesome because there's only 18 people watching. So we got more voters than people watching. That's amazing. 25 votes coming in. If you haven't voted yet, make sure you let your voice known. We're talking about what's going to happen tomorrow, at least what we think will happen tomorrow. And 72% of you think we're going to squeeze to the north side, and 28% of you think we're going to drop it like it's hot. So we'll see what happens overall. We're gonna wait a little bit more just to get that one. I'll go to Twitter and get more views, says Britta. You're too nice. Thank you for the support for yesterday, today, and every single day, and all of you, everyone who comes in and supports me. I don't think I like your poll, says everyone thinks it will squeeze. I also voted and said today will, making me second guess tomorrow. Oso over here tripping himself out. Oso, don't trip yourself out. Stick to the game plan, Oso. Stick to the game plan. Stick to the you know, stick to your setup. You know, not the votes on Twitter or on YouTube. Not the votes. Stick to the game plan. Stick to the setup, and that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day, right? Know your setup like the back of your hand and abuse that setup, baby. I know you got this. Good job today. I actually tuned into your stream a little bit while I was, you know, in and out during my phase of sleeping, checking the market, checking the market. I saw you were up for the most part, unless you gave it up the ghost too. I think that's the saying, giving up the ghost. So unless you did that, then obviously, but I think you ended green for the most part. So good job, my friend. Let's go to full screen over here. I wanted to change the colors. Let me change the colors for my nano leaf. I want something fun. Let's change it to, oh, you know what? Put it to, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, we're gonna leave that on. Okay, now let's get back to this party for the stock market. We were on Fiverr, Wayfair. Oh yeah, the next stock, PanW. So PanW coming up with the earnings move today, or sorry, yesterday pre-market. What am I saying? Yesterday after hours, we actually talked about the stock a little bit. We talked about that area specifically. We thought that area is not going to go lower than it, and it did. We ended up hitting 260 to the downside, but this is the important part on the stock. I mean, you don't want to see the stock going below 260. That's a big gap down on this position. I mean, whew, right? Big move down. I mean, why did I do that? I could just looked over here. I'm an idiot sometimes. 28% drop to the downside on Palo Alto Networks. Monster sell-off. And this is a company that actually had a decent earnings report, right? Decent earnings report. They guided lower, but the guide wasn't as big of a guide if you ask me. So it was just like lack of buyers, I guess. I don't know what it is. It was actually holding that area for pretty goddamn good time. You'll see how it was holding that area for pretty well. Eventually that area breaks, we get into 260, and 260 is where support comes in, and then after the 260 support we get drawn back into the earnings anchored VWAP and so on. So now the question ends up being, you really want to see that 265 to 260 area being support on the stock. We don't want to see PanW going under it, and if it does go under 260, then you don't want to be long. It's that simple, because this stock is easily going down to 240 or even 200 later on the longer term, because if the market doesn't like the downgrade of that report, it wasn't really as big of a downgrade if you ask me, but the market just did not like well, I guess I shouldn't call it a downgrade. The market just did not like how they reported under the estimates for the next quarter's guidance. So that sucks over here for PanW. I was pretty bullish for PanW overall, but man, what a beating. But 260 is the level that we need to see some defense. If 260 does not show defense, I think the stock is easily going down to 240. And then on a longer term scale, if we give up 240, I think we're going down to 200. So just be very careful on this position at the moment. So 260 is my major inflection level 2. That's what I'm putting down in my notes over here. Inflection level, PanW 260. Very, very important. You want to see that area getting respected and having defense if we do go to the downside there. If we don't, then it's sayonara to this trade to the long side. Absolutely, you might be able to go short on the break of 260, so watch out for that trade. As for resistances, you can look for possible resistance right into where today's VWAP slash the earnings anchored VWAP is. It's basically the same number. It's 270, so it's also middle of the range, 270, and today's high was 275. Today's low is 260. It's kind of the middle of the range right there. So possible first area of resistance, but you can see how in the after hour we kind of traded into that area, and we're kind of looking to reclaim today's range in the after hours. If the market didn't close, we would maybe actually be able to reclaim this range and start trading above this range a little bit. So even though I have 260 as support, I want to put this number back into my watch as an area of support. So if 265 can hold tomorrow in any sort of off the open action or pre-market action, possible opportunities to get long over there. Small long, giving it a small risk under 265 if the buying is there above 265, and if 265 gives, then we can wait at 260, and if 260 gives, then it's like, okay, no, I don't want to do longs anymore. I'm done with this stock. Sayonara, goodbye. But as for resistance above that, I think you got today's high. You got above today's high into that 280 area, which is on a daily chart right here. Where's my 280 marker? Hello? I'm pretty sure I had a 280 marker right there. So right into that double bottom over here into 280. I mean, it will be pretty hard to expect the stock to now, after how today's move happened, to see 280 or even 300 come into play. So I'll put in 280 and then also put in 300 as my areas of resistance to the upside on PanW. Now let's head over to the next stock on the watch list, SEDG. SEDG also reported earnings yesterday after hours, if I remember correctly. I kind of forgot what we were expecting the stock to do. I'll be honest. I forgot what we were expecting the stock to do. I think I remember now. Yeah, we didn't really think it would go lower than this. And we also said we don't see the stock reclaiming yesterday's low. So it did not even push anywhere close to yesterday's low. Kind of just stuck between one of our longer term lines over here at $76. And actually found some support into $70 or so, exactly $70. That's amazing. Found support exactly at 70 and traded between $70 and $76. Let's go to the daily chart and see where those levels come from. So that's 63. We never really pushed into that. That's around 70. They found support into 70 over there, and they kind of just want to trade into this range. SEDG, I think, is basically a nothing burger at this point. They don't want to do anything fun. There could have been something fun on the stock on the FOMC minutes trade, because that's related to the interest rates, but the SEDG over here, basically a nothing burger. Might have to just delete this trade off my watch list, because if sometimes the stock is a nothing burger on day one off of the earnings move, it might just be a nothing burger on the day two also. So there might just not be a reason for us to take a look at the stock. when you get off vacation, are you allowed to be on Discord at the firm, or are you just totally locked in? No, I have Discord open, but I am kind of totally locked in because I'm just punching keys, punching keys, punching keys. I'm just a nape smoking trees and punching keys. Sadly, I don't smoke trees when I'm at the when I'm at the firm to trade and so on. But smoking trees, punching keys, that's the idea. I do get pretty locked into that, but I do contact people on, or every now and then I check my Discord and I do talk to people. So you'll see me active. Don't worry, you'll see me pretty active in Discord without a doubt. SCDG, however, is actually going to get removed from my watch list for tomorrow. Let's go to Toll Brothers, which was supposed to trade and make a new all-time high, or was it a new 52-week high? I'm forgetting. New all-time high. So we do manage to make a new all-time high over here on TOL, and bring in a pretty decent volume spike too. 4 million shares compared to a 30-day average of about 1.5 million shares. That's pretty good, but we almost pulled back into... Oh, I thought we pulled back all the way back into 103. We did not. But that 105 area, which was the previous all-time high, almost came into play as support. Didn't really have to use that as support. Yesterday's VWAP came into play as support. That's pretty bullish. Today's low is right around 107. Possible supports into 107. You can see how yesterday's VWAP is also right around 107. That's something to keep a lookout for. Right now, we have a pretty good anchored VWAP pinch breakout setup over here. So that breakout setup, you're basically looking for the stock to reclaim the earnings anchored VWAP and start pushing back up to the north side. Maybe we could go test today's high back into 111.16. Not expecting the stock to go higher than 111.16, so that will be my first area of resistance over here. Let me put in those numbers. 111.66, sorry, so 111.50 is what I'm going to put in. I'm going to round it down a little bit. So 111.50 area, not really expecting much higher than that. That'll be my resistance to the upside. My inflection will be right around where the earnings anchored VWAP is on the 5-minute chart. So it says 102.73. I'm just gonna bring it up to 109. Should I do that? No, I'm just gonna do 108.50 to 109. I'm gonna use a whole range over there. 108.50 to 109 is the inflection point. By that I mean I want to see the stock get above 108.50 to 109 area. Show me support. Show me a good U-shape action to the upside. Show me some double bottoms into 108.50 to 109 area for me to be interested for some action into 111.50s or so on TOL. So that's what I want to see, and that's what I mean by inflection. And as for supports, I don't want to see the stock going below 107, but if it goes under 107, you do have that 106, which was the previous all-time high. So it's kind of a range at this point. 106 to 107, you don't want to see the stock going below it. If it does go below 106, 105, at that point, you know, the longs are probably done. The stock is most likely just going to retrace all the way back into this range and be stuck in this range, and you don't want to be fighting the longs at that point. So just stay away from it. So, but supports show up over here, I would love to get long off of that. Let's go to another stock that previously made an all-time high on earnings, but sadly is pulling back right now, looking like it wants to close the gap. I mean, you could kind of say we closed the gap today. The gap close would technically be at 172 or 171.93. Today's low is 172.80, about $1 away from the gap close if you really want to talk about it. But we talked about Walmart, I think yesterday or a day or two ago, I think it was yesterday actually. Walmart has a split coming up very soon. I thought people would maybe want to buy going into that split. I don't know, but maybe not. Maybe because they get diluted. No, your one share turns into 3 shares. You get 2 extra shares of Walmart, right? I think that's how it goes. But Walmart over here is still making a move to the downside after that positive earnings report. Looks like it wants a gap close, and then maybe it wants to bounce. So look for that possible gap close. I would technically say the gap close has already happened, or you could even go as far as say the gap close hasn't really happened until we go all the way back into 170. test 170 for proper supports, and then bounce again to the north side. So a couple ideas over here for us to wait for. You could use 170 area to wait for an opportunity for a real gap close. I'm putting that in the brackets. For a technical number, exact number gap close, it's around 172, which I believe we're pretty damn close near. We're 80 cents away from 172 over here, so that's already a gap close in my opinion. But I'm gonna put 170 as support. I'm gonna put 170 as my support for Walmart. I don't want to see Walmart going under 170, and if 170 comes into play and we see some longs coming in over there, that's a good opportunity to get long. Walmart with an ATR of $2.62, that means it will be hard to see the stock going higher than today's low, which is right around $172.80. I'm gonna say $173. I'm just gonna round it up a little bit. So let's say Walmart does go into 170 and allows us to get long tomorrow into 170. I'm not gonna hold the stock for a bigger move than 173. It just doesn't make sense, right? But Walmart needs to go 170 for us for me to even look for that 173 move, if that makes sense. Another stock in the same realm of Walmart over here, Home Depot, which didn't really do too much. We're still waiting for that high coming in over here for that 52-week high break. I guess you could have an alert for 368.70 or something set up, at which point you could interact with the stock to see what happens. But right now, low priority. There's other stocks with way higher ATRs coming up in with priority tomorrow, aka NVDA. So we'll talk about we'll probably keep that one more on the higher priority than HD. Might even remove HD from my watch list. Now I'll leave it on my watch list. I'll actually put in the resistance over here, the 52-week high of 369/370 on my watch. Maybe we'll set an alert somewhere at 369, 368 somewhere. Okay, so that's for Home Depot. Keep an eye out for that area if you're interested. Coinbase. For Coinbase, I like to take a start by looking at Bitcoin, BTC USD, which I think is back to 50K. Oh, we're back to 51,000. That's pretty good. I checked in the morning. We were at 50,000. Yeah, look at that. In the morning, we were around 50,000 or so. But right now, we're kind of creating maybe a bull flag, I guess, if you want to call this a bull flag. Nice little bull flag coming in over here. As you guys can see, I don't really have any more lines to the upside on Bitcoin because we have completely smashed through every single resistance area that I previously thought Bitcoin would have. Now the next area is actually giving it a nice little consolidation. That's convenient, isn't it? So next area is giving it a nice little consolidation. That little double top. Oh, that's perfect. Amazing. Coming in with the perfect rejection over there of 5,300. Let's go take a look at the Bitcoin heat map. Shout out to my Think with Bookmap family over here. I'm sure you guys didn't know about Bitcoin heat map. I'm sure you guys did. I think Bookmap actually has Bitcoin heat map. But this is the website that kind of visualizes it for me because I don't have Bookmap. Yeah, you can see that resistance right at 53,000, kind of just being an absolute barrier for the stock, not allowing us to get above it. So Bitcoin getting rejected, but Coinbase, Mara, Riot having a little bit of overreacted sell-off, I guess. Maybe, in my opinion, at the very least, like 6% down over here on Coinbase. Like, wow, overreaction much? You drama queen. Mara over here dropping to the downside too. Riot also doing a little bit same thing. So they're being a little bit of a drama queens in my opinion. They're not really moving in tandem with Bitcoin. Whereas if you look at BITO or GBTC, they didn't really drop that much, right? Only a 2% drop on BITO. GBTC probably the same thing. So my answer over here is, if you want to trade cryptocurrency based stocks, or should I say ETFs, you should just go trade GBTC, BITO. But if you want to have a little fun, I know a lot of us like to have a lot of fun over here on the stock market, right? Where is it? Let me bring in maybe I'll hit that emote after. But if you want to have a little fun over here, then you could possibly head over to Coinbase and Riot and so on. Riot over here creating a nice little double bottom or so into $160. Maybe 160 is an area to keep an eye out for. I'm actually gonna put in 160. You can see how 160 struggled into this high end area. What is that number? 161. Wow. Okay. I like it. I like it more than you like it. You hate it compared to how much I like it. Shout out to anyone who knows that reference. 160, but I'm gonna put it in brackets. 161 area in Coinbase as possible support. If that support comes in, I mean, Coinbase, if Bitcoin rallies tomorrow, you might just catch a monster $12, $15 move through there to the north side on Coinbase. Coinbase just went higher in my priority just randomly, just because of that level. That's how much I like that level. Okay, now Riot, I mean, yeah, you could trade Riot. You could also trade Mara. I know people like to trade these stocks. Mara kind of giving you that same opportunity that Coinbase is giving you right there into $22.50. If we do break $22.50, there's a little bit of a gap close and a little bit of a bigger move to the downside. I think Bitcoin might have to move under 50K for this to kind of come into play. So you don't have to really worry about this move right here until Bitcoin breaks that 50K barrier. So in my opinion, if Bitcoin doesn't break 50K, Mara longs above 2250 are probably a good idea to keep an eye out for. So I'm gonna put on Mara, also put it a higher priority for tomorrow. See if this one can get some activity for us for the long side. However, Mara ATR 2.7 to $3, Coinbase $12. So Coinbase just higher priority just because of a lot more ATR move for me. I like to move it. Lucas, why are we answering Lucas's questions? Don't answer Lucas. He's just a troll. Lucas, no, I'm joking. Lucas is actually one of my friends that I played Tarkov with. Is he in the chat? Where is he? Lucas, I just got into Penn just to see what happens. I can't day trade, so trying to swing for now. Oh yeah, that's right. You got into Penn, but I did tell you if we go under a certain price, you might have to be careful for it. I think we're under that price now. Did I say 18 for you? I think I said somewhere around 18. No, we're under that price now. Next stop $3. No, I'm joking. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, depends if you have options, if you have stocks, if you want to take loss and look into a different spot. There's so much that you could do. But Penn is sadly yikes at the moment, man. Yikes at the moment. That's not looking good. Penn recently reported earnings. I was actually looking for Penn for an investment thing because Penn is partnered with, what was that face? ESPN Bet. They're partnered with ESPN Bet, who is most likely going to advertise ESPN Bet a lot more. I'm actually seeing ESPN advertisements a lot more during UFC, which is coming to my mind now that I think about it, because you have to pay for ESPN Plus to watch UFC. So I'm seeing those advertisements a lot more, and I think a lot of other sports will start seeing those advertisements too. Now DraftKings already is partnered with DraftKings also already partnered with companies like NFL, UFC, and so on. But ESPN could easily just bully their way into overpowering those advertising rights in those areas, because they could just say, okay, we're not gonna let you have your show on our platform anymore, to UFC for example. We're not gonna host UFC anymore on ESPN unless you fire DraftKings from your advertising portfolio and you only do ESPN. So ESPN Bet is actually under Penn. They facilitate all the money and all that transactions for them. I'm actually interested for Penn for a long term over here, but right now, I mean, I'll be patient. I'll see what happens. I mean, that taking out that 52-week low is pretty significant for the stock, but I don't really care about Penn for a day trade. I'm gonna move on from Penn and continue talking about cryptocurrencies over here, because Coin and Mara were pretty interesting levels for me for supports, and I think we actually mapped them out. We put them on our watch list over here. Stocks with the orange color, highest priority. Stocks with the blue color, a little bit of a lower priority. The stocks with no color at all, which are no priority for me at all. PanW I think could go into a blue color for me, and so can Toll. Toll can also go blue. But yeah, there you go. Stocks with color orange or blue are higher priorities than the ones without color. But let's go see if Roku makes the cut for us tomorrow, which is actually still crashing, surprisingly enough, still going down. So another big candle to the downside on Roku, and pretty bearish candle if you ask me. Pretty bearish candle to the downside. Roku looks like it wants to go all the way back into that $55 low, ladies and gentlemen. It wants to die, which makes me happy. I mean, you guys know how much I hate Roku. Makes me happy. But Roku right now in a solid consolidation from past, which is the March 2023, maybe even April. A little bit of April, most of April and most of March, basically a 2-month consolidation of 2023 area coming right back into play on Roku. But the previous earnings report low has yet to be tested, I guess. So we'll see if supports come in above the previous earnings low, or do we go all the way back to the previous earnings low on Roku over here to $55. So keep an eye out for this stock. There could be some trading opportunities, maybe at the break of today's low around 63 or even $63, or even at the break of $60. Roku's ATR is $5.73, and I think it has been going up because of this move to the downside. So there could be some fun here. It's sadly going to be a day 4 trade. There is no such thing as a day 4 trade. It's a day 1, day 2, and a day 3. But we could look for some sort of an extended move down, or supports coming in at 30, and some sort of a reversion, mean reversion move coming to the north side over here on Roku. So something to keep an eye out for. But I'm liking this action, and if 55 comes into play, maybe not this week, but next week, I mean, that's a beautiful opportunity for us to look for longs for, is it not? So I'm gonna put that numbers on my board over here real quick. As for resistances, I'm just gonna watch what is today's VWAP? Today's VWAP around $65. Above today's VWAP, we have today's high at $68. So those are going to be my 2 areas of resistance. $68 also happens to be right around yesterday's high. So most likely a pretty solid resistance area. The fact that the stock tried to take out yesterday's high, rejected, sold off, took out yesterday's low, and put in a new low over there, and actually a bearish candle, I don't think Roku's done yet. Don't think Roku's done yet. So I'm going to put in Roku over here with a little bit of a blue color priority for me. Now let's go to the big tech, the large cap stocks, some of the stocks that we like taking a look at, which is Apple, Amazon, AMD, some of the more fun stocks for me at the very least. However, I haven't traded these stocks as much. I just like taking a look at them. Let's go take a look at Apple. We talked about that beautiful 180 area on Apple. Apple sadly didn't really open into 180. I guess it did. It opened at 180, not open. Where did we open today? We opened at 180.194, but we did go into 180. 180.50 basically held, gave you an opportunity to get long, and gave you an opportunity to move that long much later, sadly. That sucks. Much later. But if you looked for that long, maybe you would have caught that. However, you're still watching that 180 on Apple. Apple 180 is a solid level, and you can see how it's a quadruple, penta, sixth, I don't even know what that is anymore, 6 bottoms coming in maybe over here on Apple at that 180. So pretty interested to see what Apple comes out with tomorrow. Can we hold that 180, continue holding 180 even after the markets are really a little shaky over here, right? With the FOMC minutes today, the market sold off a little bit more, and then later on had a nasty squeeze that my friend Oso called it. Go check out Oso on Twitter, go check out Oso on YouTube. He streams live futures trading every single day. He uses Bookmap too. He's part of the Think with Bookmap family. At least I think he is. He's part of the Think with Bookmap family. Go check him out. He called the squeeze coming in at the end of the day, and he caught that squeeze, I'm pretty sure. So shout out to anybody who caught that move with them. But yeah, man, monster move on the QQQ going into the close. Let me just show you what I'm talking about over here. Big move. Pretty much taking out the high of day today. That's insane. Monster. And look at the after hour move over here on the market. Holy smokes. I didn't even see that. I'll be honest. I didn't even see that. That's insane. Look at that after hour move on the market. Pretty much back into yesterday's high. That's crazy. Beautiful move on the market. Matthew Ben Shabbat coming in. What's up, brother? Was looking at Wayfair the other day. Saw a call flow on W. Yeah, we talked about Wayfair earlier. Pretty interested to see how this one moves tomorrow, Matthew. You know, obviously pre-market stock. We might have to wait in pre-market for it to show us what it does. But if you want to see what Options AI, a tool that I like to use quite often to see what the expected options moves are, they're expecting a move up to $55.50 $0.50 or a move down to $42 on the earnings report. So somewhere to the downside over here into $42, a little bit lower. Yeah, so somewhere right into $42 or so, or they're expecting $55, somewhere right here coming into play to the north side. That's Options AI. Not affiliated with them, but I would love to be affiliated with them. Let me know if you do that. Lol, Prad, I told you last night, the long, yeah, think with Bookmap, call the long on the market too. Monster calls for these guys, like, holy smokes. I was just calling the shorts. I was calling the shorts mainly because this is what I saw. I saw the market reject yesterday's VWAP and kind of stood in this area. And honestly, we were both correct, right? We were both correct. If you look at it, come on. I called this short here. And we did get that short. I called a reject to 17,500, move to the downside. We did get that one. And you guys, oh my God. Like, where did this come from? Keep in mind that this number is delayed by 15 minutes. I don't actually pay for futures data on TradingView. I don't trade futures, so I don't find the need to have the real-time data on futures on TradingView. But I do pay for data on all the other markets on TradingView that I do trade. Now, let's continue with our watch list. We're almost at the end of the watch list over here. We only have a few more stocks, and most of these stocks we don't even really put in anything on the watch list anyways. We just like to take a look at them. So let's take a look at AMD. AMD with a nice bounce after hours. That's got maybe the butterfly effect. Is that the right word? I always wanted to know what the butterfly effect meant. Something like that, right? The butterfly effect from NVDA. It's not like something small in NVIDIA is affecting AMD. It's obviously the NVIDIA earnings report helping the overall semiconductor sector. Probably SMCI making a little bit of a move to the north side too in the after hours over here. Maybe Intel catching some of that traction too. ARM also might be catching some of that traction over here too. So ooh. I like that on ARM. Are you telling me ARM's gearing up for another breakout over here? 135 breakout back into 150 and 165. Guess who just got added to the watch list? Welcome to the watch list, ARM. ARM. 135. What is that area? Yeah, 135 area just got put on the watch list for ARM. Thank you to the earnings report from NVIDIA. Now, if we don't take out 135 clearly and show me some, bullish power above 135, it's actually 136. That move high 135. I'll put 135 to 136 area as my resistance over here on the stock. So watching how ARM behaves going into the ANET. People talking about ANET. Let's take a look at that one. A little bit of a move over here, but I mean, no volume. Not really seeing a sympathy trade. No real butterfly effect. But I guess a lot of AI-based stocks like C3 AI. There we go. C3 AI pushing to the north side. A lot of AI-based SoundHound, SOUN. Maybe even this stupid stock moving to the north side. So yeah, a lot of stocks probably catching that traction to the upside for sure, without doubt. So keep an eye out for some of these movers, especially if NVIDIA is taking out 750 tomorrow and going into 800. How one of our viewers just came in and said, Wayne Wang, 800 coming in soon. So stay tuned for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for that bad boy. Okay, take a look at all those links in the chat real quick that Streamlabs just spammed for no reason. Thank you, Streamlabs, for putting in there. Obviously, Streamlabs is a bot. Make sure you check out all those links and the affiliate sponsors, and shout out to all my affiliate sponsors too, helping me keep this stream absolutely free and keep everything that I do absolutely free for you guys. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in that having to pay for Discord servers, having to pay for trading education, having to pay for all that nonsense, all these scammers that do this services. I don't like that. I don't trust that. But that being said, I do have a service. Surprisingly enough, that being said, I do have a service on Patreon. If you do want to support me, everything I do is free. absolutely free. I talk about my watch list. I show you my watch list. I chart my levels in front of you. I put my levels in front of you on the watch list. Everything I do is absolutely free. But if you do want to support me, you can do so by becoming a member on YouTube, or by an extra level above that, becoming a member on my Patreon, in which way you can get some extra added perks, such as getting my watch list sent out to you every single day, and you also get a nice little one-on-one sessions once a month over here, on stream or off stream, however you want. But for that one-on-one session, there are a couple requirements. We can talk about that once you do, if anyone does subscribe to it. Sky Fairy did subscribe to it, but she doesn't want to have those one-on-ones, maybe because she doesn't do what I tell her to do. Sky Fairy, if you're listening, start recording your trades if you want to have those one-on-ones. Otherwise, we can't have those one-on-ones. I can't really talk to you about your trades if you're not recording screenshots or showing me what you're trading and why you're trading and so on. I can't really help you. Otherwise, there's no point. Anyways, coming back to the market. However, that's right. However, even though I don't sell services, all my services are free. Look, I show you my watch list. You can literally come back to the stream tomorrow morning and pause this over here, and you can see all of this information for free. And I do this every single day. But that's just an extra thing in a way for you guys to support me. It's my OnlyFans, basically. I'll stop talking about it. Let's finish up the watch list over here. ARM was a pretty interesting find. I like the find over here on ARM. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon 170 coming back into play. Looks like that's the earnings anchored VWAP. ER from, where is this earnings VWAP coming from? Probably the recent one, right? Yeah, the recent one, the February one. How come I didn't mark it up? February 24. Nope, not 23, Pratty Daddy. 24. So nice resistance of the earnings anchored VWAP coming into play right around the $170 on Amazon. Beautiful support also right into that 167 area on Amazon. So look out for Amazon possibly for some action, especially if the markets, with the beautiful reversal the markets had today, if Amazon wants to get above 170 and show you support above 170, maybe that's an option for you to get long. Meta is something that's more interesting for me tomorrow. Meta actually has been it bounced exactly off the earnings anchored VWAP today, so that's one bullish. Tomorrow I think we could see some big moves going into this 485 area, at which point you could possibly look for some shorts. I don't think we see a bigger move than 485 tomorrow if we do go there, but if there is for some random reason a bigger move above 485, then maybe you want to participate in that one too. So watching out for that move over there. 486 to 488.60 is really the resistance zone that I'm kind of watching to the north side, to 488.50 to the north side over here as my resistance. As for support, you could look for today's low. You could also look for the earnings anchored VWAP right around $460 coming into play. The stock's ATR is $13. For this to have a complete move to the north side over here is about 1 ATR compared to today's high, but that would mean the stock needs to reclaim 470, show you support above 470, and hence 470 is my inflection level. So 470 inflection, you want to see 420. You want to see 470 showing you support. You want to see stock getting above 470 and having buying power above 470 in pre-market itself for us to be able to go into that resistance. But if it doesn't have that already in pre-market, then most likely we are watching the stock pull back into today's low, right into where the earnings anchored VWAP is, into that $460, and we're probably trading between 460 and 470 all day. So watching Meta for some opportunities over there. Meta goes up in priority also. I'm going to put Meta in blue. Yeah. Microsoft, I don't think there's a trade on Microsoft tomorrow. Google, I don't think there's a trade on Google either. Netflix, we did break out, but we got right back under. So I'm not sure what I want to do with this one. I think I want to see the stock get back to 600 before I make another trading decision on the stock. So we're going to have to stay away from Netflix for a little bit longer. And Tesla forming a beautiful range over here on the daily chart, kind of getting ready to make another attempt towards gap close. Some would say the gap has already been closed and a clear rejection of 200 has come into play. But I would bet that not Papa Powell, Aunt Kathy, there you go. Aunt Woods, Aunt Kathy is probably buying up and holding up this 180 area right now. So most likely some opportunities to continue looking for supports to being built into the earnings anchored VWAP on TSLA. As for the overall markets, QQQ, S&P 500, and the IWM, I mean, that reversal into the end of the day was monstrous. Monster reversal. That much of a reversal could only possibly indicate, give me a second, lip pillow time. Lip pillow. Here we go. Lip pillow time could possibly only indicate more upside in my opinion. So we're expecting another run towards the north side on the markets over here. QQQ reclaiming a lot of the levels that I didn't think we would, going back into 430. So possible more upside coming in tomorrow on the market. Let's stay tuned. Let's brace for impact at the same time. Okay, I don't want my bullish tonality to make you go long and get hurt. At the end of the day, everything I do is not financial advice. This is just my trading ideas. I put levels on the stocks on paper just for me to keep an eye out for, and then I try to form ideas throughout the day, and everything I do is discretionary. It changes minute by minute, it changes day by day, it changes hour by hour, right? So make your own decisions. Everything I do is not financial advice. I don't want my bullish tonality to hurt you. But I do think with that move we saw in the market today, we're going upside. We're going upside. I think we do see that. Where's the chat at? What's the chat saying? Let's go see what chat's talking about. 37 votes now coming in. Okay, let's go. Big squeeze, 68% at big squeeze right now, and drop it like it's hot at a 32%. So a lot of people think we're actually going up tomorrow. Even bigger move to the north side. I like it. I like it. I'm trying to scroll up over here to see what I missed. There's a lot of people in chat now being active. I love it. But that just means I'm going to miss out on some of the notes. So I'm just going to kind of skim through over here. NVDA, we kind of talked about NVDA already. Goldman update forecast to 5200 says Darth Buddha. Is that on ES? I guess ES being the S&P 500 futures. 5200 Goldman update. That's a new all-time high on the S&P 500 futures. So let's see what happens over there. Goldman sucks. That's their new name, at least. Britta coming in with the recruited again. Britta, you're putting in too much work. You're the real MVP, Britta. Thank you for all the work that you're doing at the moment. T-Doc, ugh. Yeah, we talked about T-Doc yesterday briefly for the earnings report. Oh my god. Did not expect that one at all. That's a big move over there on Teledoc. Yeah, there's probably a trade over here on Teledoc, actually. There's a trade here on Teledoc to possibly keep an eye out for. Teledoc's ATR is what? Give me that. $1.22. I'm adding it to the watch list. I'm adding it to the watch list. I'll add it right above Pan W. Add one cell above Pan W. T-Doc, support $15, and then we'll see what happens on the stock around 15. If it holds 15, I think we got a beautiful long opportunity. That's a big sell-off, 23% drop. You can expect the stock to show you some monster longs tomorrow off of 15. So I'm looking at it, this one. I think Pan W will rebound tomorrow, says Britta. Britta coming in with monster selections. Pan W rebound and the Teledoc rebound. And Britta, I don't disagree with you at all. I'm looking at those both tomorrow. I actually saw that T-Doc from your call out. Rivian, yeah, I think Rivian has a similar trade. Maybe at 11. If 11 comes into play, it's really good. But 13 has some opportunity at 13 also. The report wasn't that bearish in my opinion, but we'll see what happens on Rivian. SoFi rebounds after hours, says Michael Anthony. What's up, Michael? How you doing, brother? Long time no see. Trade in Ayad coming in. What's up, brother? I love that username, dude. I love that username. Eye of Sauron Doji. Is that some new candlestick that you're coming up with, Buddha? I love it. Eye of Sauron. Isn't that like Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings? All right. CDP, what's up, brother? How you doing? What do you think about NVIDIA? We actually talked about NVIDIA at the start of the stream. Feel free to kind of scroll back to the start of the stream if you want. I don't want to have to repeat everything, but I don't really have any levels on NVIDIA. I'm waiting for the pre-market to show me what NVIDIA sets up for us tomorrow, and if NVIDIA can, you know, show me that 746 area in pre-market. If we can break out of that 746 in pre-market, maybe 750 is the level we're playing with. If the stock is already above 750 in pre-market, then it's like, okay, what are we really doing here? I'm gonna have to be a little bit more cautious if 750 is the number that we're playing off the open. I would be a lot more happier if the number we're playing with off the open is like right into 720 or so. If the number that we're playing off the open is right around here, or maybe even, you know, what I would like to see is more rejection of the 746. Sounds like a Boeing airplane number. More rejection of the 746, then pulling down, giving us a sharp bounce off of that, and then, but after it breaks out, I want to see pull back and then a I don't know if that sounds, does that sound like a rocket ship? But that's red alert, red alert. We're about to lift off, and for me to lift off, this is exactly the pattern I want to see on the stock tomorrow. If we're already above 746 and playing with 750, there is still a possibility of this pattern. There's still a possibility of this pattern where we actually take off, but we might have to wait and see what happens in pre-market. Wait and see what happens in the stock in pre-market. That's one thing that NVIDIA is sadly missing on my watch list over here for tomorrow. Sounded like SpongeBob died. Yeah, honestly, that was horrible sound effect. That's why I don't work as a sound effects guy for some TV show. Okay, I've been watching a lot of those YouTube shorts where some people make sound effects for like a cartoon animation or something. It's pretty cool how people make that. Sky Fairy coming in. Good evening, Prad. Made jalapeno poppers today. Shout out to Sky Fairy. We were just talking about you, Sky Fairy. If you want to have those one-on-ones because you're my only Patreon member, shout out to Sky Fairy, my only Patreon member. If you want to have those one-on-ones, I'm going to need you to take screenshots of your trades. Take screenshots of your trades so that we could have those one-on-ones either on stream or off stream, and then we could see where you're going wrong, what your thought process is behind your trades and so on, and maybe we could get you start making those bigger bags. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was our watch list for tomorrow. You guys got to see a nice little watch list, what we expect from the stocks, what we expect from the markets itself. But one thing is missing out, which is, what is the economic calendar for tomorrow looking like? So it is looking a little busy. We do have some important things coming out, especially in the pre-market at 8:30. First one being initial jobless claims, second one being the PMI numbers, the third one being, oh, that's PMI's coming out at 9:45 actually. Why did my ALEXA turn on? PMI is coming out at 9:45. Home sales coming out at 10 o'clock. This might be a little bit important for you who's been trading home stocks recently, like Toll Brothers, Lennar, maybe even Home Depot. Something to keep an eye out for at 10 o'clock. Governor Jefferson coming out at 10 o'clock on the mic, pretty low of importance. Crude oil inventories at 11. That comes out every Thursday. We know that, so watch out for that one to move the crude oil market. CL, Think with Bookmap actually has a CL futures bookmap stream 24/7, or should I say 23/7. So go check them out if you are looking to make some important decisions over there. Why are Fed members coming out tomorrow? However, they're coming out pretty close to the close, so that's fine. Anything else that's pretty important? Nope, not that important. So basically 8:30, 9:45 are the important time periods tomorrow to keep an eye out for the economic calendar. That could help the market move higher, or maybe just get rejected right again and we push right back down. At this point, I guess the move back down will not be as violent as it was today, because of how violent the move back up was. But who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody's got crystal balls. All we can do is create scenarios and react to those scenarios the best we can, right? That's the only thing we can do as day traders. Our job is to create possible scenarios and react to the way the market is reacting or around levels, and see if our setup allows us to make a trade out of it. So this is the economic calendar for tomorrow. Now let's go see if the IPO calendar is as hot tomorrow. No, still nothing on the IPO calendar, sadly. So I guess that wraps up the main section of the stream today. That was pretty much the main part of the stream today. Maybe we could talk about the opening range breakout setup a little bit more. So I've been working on my scanner. You guys have been tuning in and kind of seeing how I've been working on my scanners recently. Right now, this scanner over here has been something else. So you can see how that report, that white paper that came out recently on opening range breakouts, I actually found the old one. This is the old one released in oh, this is the same ones. What? I thought that was the old one. Is that the same one? Just February 20, 2024, February 16, 2024. But I thought this is the old one and this is the new one. That's pretty strange. Either way, if you guys have been here yesterday, you guys saw me talking about this strategy that they posted a report on. The report actually hones in specifically on looking for stocks with the highest relative volume on the day and taking the opening range breakout of the top 20 relative stocks on the day. So we actually have that scanner set up exactly that they wanted to, but sadly we will not be able to. Hello? Sadly we'll. What's the error message? Where's the error message? Oh, there you go. Okay, what the hell? What's going on with my trade ideas? Oh, there you go. So we actually have it set up now. Now we can take a look at it. We actually have it set up the way the paper wants us to. You don't want the stock price to be less than $5. So we're going to filter the stocks to be $5 or more. The relative volume needs to be 100% or more, but we're going to set it to be at least 2, but that doesn't matter anyways because we're going to filter the scanner by the highest relative volume to the least relative volume on the top list scanner over here. But either way, we're gonna set the relative volume scan to 2. You could leave this to 0 if you want. It doesn't really matter. The stocks need to have at least 1 million shares in a 10-day average. If the stock does not trade at least 1 million shares in a 10-day average, does not make the cut for us. And they say that the average true range is at least 50 cents. I went a little bit ahead of that and I said I want the stocks that are having an average true range of at least $1. Otherwise, I am not interested. Just, boring. Get out of my face. Don't care about you. Actually, something that I might want to add right now, quick glance, is one of the columns should be ATR. So let's see that ATR column. Is there any way I could send you above? I guess not. Bang. So we have the ATR column also added. Now, you can see how it automatically sorts it by the most relative volume on the stock to the least relative volume on the stock. And we are only looking at the top 20 stocks over here. So let's start with CPOP. CPOP, to start off the day, you would have possibly looked for, we're only looking for the opening range breakout. And I need to move my chart, my chat up here. So early, my chat. Blah, 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 blah. So CPOP. Let's go to CPOP over here. You're looking for the opening range 5-minute breakout of the stock. So pull up the stock on the 5-minute. Let's actually get rid of all my lines, I guess. Okay. Pull up the stock on the 5-minute chart. Throw a line at the high of the 5-minute and at the low of the 5-minute. Right? You're looking for the breakout. 5-minute breakout of the stock. 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 5-minute breakout of the at the high of the 5 minutes. So technically on this candle over here, when that breaks out, you could get long. That's what the report, the study talks about. The stock talks about just simply taking the long on the breakout of the move, and you're setting a stop after you enter at 10% of the stock's ATR. So whatever the stock's ATR is, you take 10% of that ATR, you get, let's say, 25 cents. Then you put the stock at whatever you enter at 25 cents below that, and that's how you set an arbitrary 10% stop. I didn't really like that, so I felt like, you know, I would have to kind of finesse this trade a little bit more. So this is what I'm planning to do. Most of the time when a stock does break out of its opening 5-minute range, sometimes it snaps back into that range and kind of traps people. But more importantly, when it breaks out of that opening range, it comes back and uses the opening range high as support. That is the area we want to look to get long the most. Not on the breakout, not on the breakout itself, but you are looking to get long. Let me turn off all my drawings over here. Turn off all the drawings. Oh man, that just, you know what? Let's delete all the drawings. Who cares? So let's put in that line right there on the 5-minute chart. Let's put in that line on at the bottom of the 5-minute. Let's bring in our volume candles. So take a screenshot of this real quick. Turn on green shot so we can draw in some of the more interesting areas where we want to put in. Mikhail is my boyfriend name. I'm Britta. That's surprising because Mikhail is actually the name I use in my Tarkov game. Well, it's now TraderPrad, but before I used to call myself Mikhail Pradachev in the game. That's hilarious. Mikhail. I'm guessing you're Russian or Ukrainian, Britta, or both of you. Okay, so you are not looking to enter on the breakout of this area ever, right? You are looking for the stock to pull back, show you buying above the 5-minute high, or at least at the 5-minute high like it did over here, right? Once it shows you buying above the 5-minute high, that's exactly where you want to get long. Also, another area to kind of add to your position after you already take some profits would be getting into that area over there. And let me show you where your stops would be. Your stops would be somewhere at the low of that red candle. Your stops would be at the low of that red candle, and you could once again add to another trade over here. Stops would be at the low of that red candle, coming into a new trade after it holds that 5-minute right there. And as for taking profits, you could have taken profits, some profits over here, added some shares back, taking some more profits into this down move over here, taking that shares back, and then taking more profits over here. Now, if you're an absolute god at trading, maybe you're taking most of your trades out over here, but most of your size is probably getting out over here. Obviously, you want to try and capture some profits in that area, but this area is most likely where you're closing the trade completely, or you're trading closing most of your size, and then you're waiting to see if the stock still respects VWAP, which it does at the end of the day. So shout out to this trade over here. I mean, I do want to save this chart. I do want to maybe even write this up as a trade, as an opening range breakout. You don't want to take the breakout itself. You don't want to take the breakout itself, in my opinion. But sometimes, sadly, when the breakout happens, it never really has a pullback. So for that one, I'll show you an example. Sadly, sometimes when the breakout happens, it never really has a pullback. So let's show you the maybe not this one. Show you this one over here. However, this one was a fail breakout to the upside first, and then a real breakout to the downside. So if you look at what happened on SMCI over here on the day that it cracked down to $800 after breaking $1,000, right? When it cracked down, it first had a fail break of the 5-minute range high. It failed, broke above the range high. Notice how you would have been trapped over here. You would have been trapped on this long and lost about what? $30 per share, almost $50 per share if you hold it to the low of the opening range. You're game over. Your account's getting liquidated by doing that. That's why I say you don't want to take the breakout. But sometimes you might just want to take the breakout. Now, this might be a special scenario where the opening range 5-minute high was a fail break, So the opening range 5-minute low could be the real break you might want to just jam into, and that's the only opportunity you have. That is something that you could think about. That's not something that I've back tested. That's not something that I can say with 100% proof and confidence that that's exactly how it works every single time, but it's something to keep an eye out at. But let's say the opening range 5-minute high actually never broke, and the stock actually did this. Sometimes that could happen, and you might just miss the boat because you're waiting for the pullback reject into that 5-minute low for you to get back into the short. And you know what, you got to be okay with missing the trade. You're not going to catch 100% of them, right? This is something that I said to one of my traders recently. You're not going to catch 100%. Wait, hold up. When you take the breakouts without waiting for the confirmation, when you take the breakouts, you are going to catch 100% of them that go bad. There are more of them that go bad than they go good, and you're not going to overall net return positive on it because you're just, you're making money and you're giving it back. But when you wait for the stock to break out, pull back, show you support above the previous breakout level, that is now a more definable trade, a more actionable stop, a more refined risk, and a trade for you to play off of. That's the trade you want to be in. So, sometimes you got to be okay with giving up the trade. It goes. Without you, that's fine. The train's gone. We'll look for the next trade. Look for the next big opportunity. So over here, look at all these green dots that I have on my charts. Oh my goodness. They're all over the place. So this is CPOP. That's one trade opportunity. That's at least the first one. The next one on the scan. What's the one that's crashing? Which one is it? Is it you? Are you crashing? Get out of my face then. Stop crashing. Jesus Christ. Okay. So the next one on the scan, RAPT. So you guys saw how CPOP was a monster trade, and now here's an idea for RAPT. Maybe I don't even need to go to the trade ideas chart. I can just show you over here. This is the opening range 5-minute high. You wait for the stock to break out, show you some support above the opening range high. It doesn't really pull back, right? Maybe I'll go here. It's a little bit easier to see on these guys' charts, sadly. Trade ideas need to build better charts. That's all it is. Okay, there you go. So you're looking for the stock to break out. It breaks out. You could enter on that breakout, but we don't want to do that. Remember, not the way we want to do the trade. We want to see the stock pull back, show us support at the 5-minute high, and then look for a long, which it does. It bounces right off the 5-minute high. It tries to go down, doesn't go down. So that's where you kind of get long, with the stop right under that red candle. You can add over here a little bit more. You can kind of get rid of some of your size over here. Most of your size gets rid over here, and the trade is done. We're now under today's VWAP. Over here, the 9 EMAs under the 21 EMA. The sentiment is done, but later on, eventually the stock does go much higher. But for me, the trade is done over here. Beautiful long. You're done. Hit it and quit it. You get what? Multiple dollars per share. You're in at $8. You're out at almost $10. Multiple dollars per share, and you're barely even risking anything on this trade. 2 monster winners back to back. Here's Pan W to the short side. Let's talk about Pan W over here. So here's the Pan W opening range 5-minute high and the opening range 5-minute low. And based on that, Pan W actually doesn't give you a trade much later in the day. It gives you a trade over here at what was it? Much later in the day at 2:20. Is that 2:20? Yeah, right around 2:20 p.m. It breaks that 5-minute opening range low, pulls back, shows you rejection right instantly, and gives you an opportunity to get short right there on the reject of the 9 EMA, on the reject right before the 265 area. That's where you kind of look for that short and risk the back through of 265. Easy trade. You get $5 per share for maybe risking 50 cents, for maybe risking $1. 4:1 trade, maybe even more than 4:1 trade. Those are the trades we want to be involved in. So look out for these setups that I'm going to be looking out more. I'm going to be trading these setups more. So LUNR, here's another stock that we're going to back test. Monster breakdown short. Look at that. Woo, wow, wee, what? It's losing my mind. So LUNR, that's the opening range 5-minute low. consolidated actually into the opening range 5-minute low, and these are the ones where you can kind of take that breakout, right? When the stock breaks the 5-minute range low, you can see how it kind of breaks the 5-minute range low, pulls back and kind of consolidates over here a little bit, makes a little bit of a small bear flag. This one you can kind of take the breakout instead of actually having to wait for the pullback. That's a double pattern almost, giving you double the confidence to get into the trade. When you see something like this, you might want to jam that trade, really smash into that short, and look how big of a short opportunity that was instantly. That is a double smack. That's like I don't know how to put it, but it's a double smack of Rooney's. When you see something like that, you really want to pile into that one. So LUNR, big win. ALNY, another big win. Look at that, another one. I mean, we could just keep on going all day. I could just waste your time all day over here if you want on these setups. But just trying to give you an example of a setup that I was previously very, very interested to look for. I kind of zoned away from this setup, but now I'm interested in it more. Look at this one. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Exactly what the other stock did over there. On the failed breakout. SMCI, right? Look at it, opening range breakout, kind of fails, breaks the opening range bottom. We're right into yesterday's ranges, so support comes into yesterday's ranges, and you can also see we bounced right off of yesterday's VWAP technically. So we bounce off of yesterday's VWAP over here on ALNY, and then the monster move right back into yesterday or today's high, the opening range 5-minute high, consolidates into the opening range 5-minute high. That's a double whammy right there again. A double whammy. I mean, maybe not double whammy. Whammy is like a bad thing, right? But a double smacky, right? You want to smack the trade when you see something like that. And look at that risk to reward opportunity on ALNY. And we can just keep on going, keep on going. The top 20 stocks are all absolute bangers of trades over here. Depends on obviously the way you manage your trades. Actually, that one's not a banger trade at all. That's a good example of sometimes maybe it works, sometimes it doesn't. Technically, this one you would have had to catch on the break itself, and since that's not part of our setup, you would have to wait for it to pull back to the 5-minute low, which it does, but it kind of trades into the 5-minute low and around that 5-minute low, which maybe gives you 1 or 2 trades, but overall you might lose on this trade at the end of the day. So that's just the nature of the game. You can't win all 100% of them, but when one of the stock you're losing maybe $1 worth of risk compared to 5 stocks where you're making $5 worth of risk on every single one of those stocks over there, are you really complaining that much about losing $1 worth of risk on this stock at that moment? Probably not, right? Probably not. So this stock over here, absolute fire for our portfolio today, sadly, but you got monster trading opportunities. I mean, look at this one too. Break out of the 5-minute range high, just keeps on going. Mamma mia, mia likey. So opening range breakout, probably something to keep in mind for the stocks that are announcing earnings tomorrow pre-market. mRNA, Wayfair, Fiverr. Watch for the opening range breakouts to the upside or to the downside. You could also incorporate the earnings report to kind of create some sort of a prejudice, some sort of a bias for you already to one side or the other. And then if the stock already gaps into that one side, maybe you can lean on that side more if it breaks into the opening range of whatever side it gapped into. So a little bit of an idea over there on Moderna. Most likely going to be looking forward for this on NVDA, especially if NVDA pops into my relative scanner. I do have an opening range breakout long and an opening range breakout short scanner. These are just for back testing purposes, but this is the real scanner that I intend to take trades off of. The top 20 stocks with most high relative volume tomorrow, I most likely will trade at least the top 5 of them, and you can see how PanW was one of the top 3 today in the top 5. So I'm expecting, at least I'm finger crossed praying that NVIDIA is in the top 5 over here. Even if it's not, I'll still possibly look for some trades on that stock tomorrow. I also have monster trading opportunities coming in from my other scanner that I built, which is the Gap Given Bella Scalp setup. So I'm looking forward to this one paying out. I can't stop back testing this. I keep back testing this every single chance I get to, and the numbers are just so beautiful. So beautiful. It makes me smile. So let me show you the numbers for this one. Simulate buy, and then I'll also simulate the sell for you. Why not? Back test the strategy. Okay. That's good. That's good. Simulate sell. Oh, work. In the meantime, I'm gonna take a look at the chat over here. We're almost time for calling it a night here, ladies and gentlemen. Almost time to take it a night. Pradley, what scanner? It's a trade idea scanner that I built myself. An opening range breakout scanner, and stocks that basically gap up, give up a little bit, and then take off. So looking for a gap give and go scanner. I'm a fan girl. So what? Kimbap. What's that? Is that food? I want that. I think kimbap is food. Umbop, doo-wop, and you said kimbap. Okay, that's because Mike Crahan over here throwing up the Miami gang symbols in the chat. What's up, Mike Crahan? And our one and only subscriber to the TraderPrad family. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. It's too late. My brain is frying right now. My brain is frying. The only member of the TraderPrad family. Britta, I'm foaming on NVDA. It's at 740 right now. Buy more. Well, you can't even trade it right now, though. What the hell? You can't even trade it right now. But here you go. Let me show you my stats on my setup over here. By default, I'm making the stocks, the trades only take 10 shares. So every trade is 10 shares no matter what. And even with that, you're getting monster results over here. I mean, this would be all the longs in February. And you can see how I barely lose any money if I do lose. And when the wins come, they come in pouring. Let's see January. January, not a lot of trades to begin with, but when the wins come, they come pouring, and not a lot of losers when the losers happen, right? Gotta remember, however, we're only taking 10 shares. We're only taking 10 shares at the moment. Gotta keep that in mind. And here's November. A little bit of a loser. Nice couple winners. Only one red day technically. Couple green days. Not a lot of trading days, however. That means the scanner is exactly what I want it to be. I want the scanner to be those one or done opportunities for the day. Those random rare opportunities that might show up on the day for me that I end up missing a lot of the times. For example, here's the short side trade that popped up today. That was apparently the only one and done trade. It was a short side signal for VRT, and we can actually pull this one up on here. So let's go pull up VRT, and you can see when the signal pops in. The signal pops in right here for us to go short, and look at that move. Gotta love building scanners like these. The stock actually gaps down, moves right back into yesterday's range, finds resistance right into yesterday's ranges, gives you double whammy or double slammy opportunity over there, right? Gaps down, pulls back, and then struggles. Beautiful short trade, giving us a move down. And that was a big short opportunity right there. On 10 shares, making $40 on a $60 trade. Come on. That's insane. Beautiful trade over there. Beautiful trade at the end of the day. So, here we did take a little bit of a loss. I think some of the stocks, you could minimize the damage according to the back test. From what I saw, is you would get stopped out before, or at least you should technically get out of the trade before these levels punch you out according to the back test. That just means you lose less money technically, and sometimes you also hold some of your winners longer than you intend to, than the back test over here, because the back test cuts you off automatically at 1 p.m. The back test, no matter what, if you're in a winner or a loser, the position needs to be dumped off at 1 p.m. But sometimes your winners, you're holding them maybe longer than 1 p.m. That means you are making even more money. So this setup over here has me so excited. I've been backtesting the shit out of the setup for the past two weeks or so in my vacation over here. Also very happy to kind of create this scanner over here too. Going to be looking forward to exploring and applying both of these strategies for my day trading going forward. And you guys are going to be hearing a lot more about these strategies. I don't really like this doc U over here though, this doc N. That's way too late in the day, and also it shows up for a short. Yeah, you don't want to be taking opening range breakouts at 3 o'clock in the day. That doesn't make sense. It's not really an opening range breakout anymore. I mean, technically it's an opening range breakout, but it's not an opening range breakout for you to be in when it's happening at 3 o'clock, right? Not a trade for us to be in at that time. But some of the ideas over there, hopefully you guys will use to apply to your own trading and make some banger trades tomorrow. Trying to remember if there's anything else we want to do. It's almost 10 o'clock. Maybe it's just time to go to bed and you know, not really do what I was thinking I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to react to some funny TikToks about day trading, but it's a little bit too late for that. It's a little bit too late. We had fun today, so let's kind of just call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you for everyone who tuned in. Thank you for all the OGs who keep tuning in every single day, and all the new people who are coming in. Britta, Mike Crahan, TH, Dieter, all of you OGs, you know, don't think I forgot you. The super chats today, the super chats were crazy. Lily's grandma coming in with a $20 super chat. I'm trying to remember who were the other two. Britta with the $1 super chat, or was it $2 super chat? We also had Corey coming in with a $1 super chat. So big banger super chats over there. Shout out to every single one of you. NVDA, I'll be trading tomorrow. No, don't do it, says Mikey. Mikey, I've been trading for streaming for 2 hours, bro. I'm tired. I gotta go to bed and I gotta get ready for me getting back to my trading, which is obviously from tomorrow. I'll be back to trading, so I can't wait to see what happens over there. Oh my lord. Oh wait, how do I? Oh, come on. I don't have any of my buttons set up for this one. Let me go over here. Full cam. No, full screen. I need to go to full screen, nano leaf, and let's do disco. Let's do disco mode. Yeah, let's do disco mode over here, because we got Mikey with 5 gifted in the chat. 5 gifted in the chat. Shout out to everybody else who just got gifted. Trader Slice, Veggie Ham, DD929, Roger Udmala, and who else? What was that? All 5 of them? Mikey Crahan, that's amazing, brother. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you for the support, man. Today's stream has been awesome. You guys are amazing. Obviously, I wish even better opportunities tomorrow for you guys than we got today. Markets were pretty hot, but I think we're gonna see some real super hot fire action tomorrow with NVIDIA. Stay vigilant. Stay disciplined, stay patient, don't break your systems, apply proper risk management. It's a $700 stock, most likely going to $800, so be very careful, especially if you're trading options too, right? I know a lot of you trade options. If you trade futures, go check out my brand new family over at Think with Bookmap. Shout out to the Think with Bookmap family over there and all the people who've been supporting me. Go check out them, hit that follow on their channel, hit that subscribe on their channel, and make sure you go check out all the links below in my description. All my social media links, all my affiliate sponsor links such as Trade Ideas, Trader Sync, code PRAD15 at checkout, and also Benzinga. Benzinga helps me with the earnings news every single day. You guys see me putting that news into ChatGPT and then reading off of ChatGPT. None of that would be possible without Benzinga. So go check out Benzinga without a doubt. And last but not least, shout out to you. Shout out to all of you guys. Oh my god, another 5 super chat. Mike, what are you doing? Mikey over here going crazy. Mike is going absolutely bonkers today. Mike, what's going on with you, big homie? I think Mike wanted to send me a Yeezy shoe, and I told him, no, don't give me Yeezy shoes, Mikey. Become a YouTube member for me instead of that other show. And Mikey said, okay, I'll do that. But now Mikey's going one step above it, and he is going crazy. Oh, he owns NVIDIA. Mikey, that makes sense. You know what? Mikey's pouring his NVIDIA blessings all over the homies right now. He's letting it rain, and he is having fun. Robinhood sucks, but it allows 24-hour trading. I heard about that. I heard about Robinhood allowing 24-hour trading. Are they doing it right now? Are they allowing 24-hour trading right now? If so, how is that data transferring over to the live market later on? That's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. Not sure how that data is getting transferred over. Maybe at the 8 o'clock candle dumps. Pretty interesting. I mean, 24-hour trading is in the near future. Clearly, we're very close to the 24-hour trading. Thanks, Prad. I'm an NG noob gangsta. You're not a noob, but you're a gangsta for sure, Bitta. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the love. Mikey, you're insane. Mikey, you're insane today, brother. I love that the NVIDIA for you has been killing it. Shout out to your NVIDIA portfolio. Hopefully NVIDIA tomorrow goes to 800 for you, Mikey. Let's see what happens. But for now, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go to bed. Mikey, thank you for the 10 gifted. Everyone who got gifted or anyone who gifted got gifted a member, say thanks to Mikey allowing you guys to be on the green side for the next month. And shout out to everyone who super chatted today. Thank you for all the love and all the support. I will see you guys tomorrow for the last stream of the week. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that one, and stay tuned. A lot of big things coming. I got a new video planned that I'm going to record over the weekend. I got possibly new interviews to start doing, meaning I'm gonna have some hosts on this show. I'm gonna be on other people's shows very soon, most likely. So lots of things happening over here in the TraderPrad world. I'll keep you guys up to date, but the only thing that's important is the market. So go get your beauty sleep and slam the markets tomorrow. Slam them, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the support. Good freaking night. You guys are insane. Good night.